If you are new here, then welcome. If you are new here, go ahead and check out the playlist that I have linked right over in the corner. This is a continuation of our junk journal series. Now I am going to be keeping this video pretty sweet and short today. We are just going to be going over one method of keeping your junk journal closed, and that is going to be adding an elastic around to keep it closed. Just a simple elastic. You can use 1 millimeter, 2 millimeter, whatever you may have. You could also do this same exact thing with banker's twine or any kind of embroidery thread or string that you would like, and you would have to tie it around when closing it. Just a little recap of what we did last week. We did get all of our signatures together and bind them into our junk journal. I did put this in a book press, as I told you guys, and now you can see it is a lot slimmer of a profile. But as you add things to your junk journal, it is going to bulk up. So we do want a way to get it closed and keep it closed whenever we are not working on it. The only thing that I have done off camera is I did cut a simple piece of 3-inch wide paper by the height of my book, so 9 1/4, and I just put that over my spine, over all of that stitching. And the only reason I did this is because what I am going to do today with the elastic is I'm actually going to be putting in an eyelet, and I would like to make sure that the stitching has been covered already because I don't want to try to decorate later over top of an eyelet. So these eyelets, this entire kit right here, I actually got off of Amazon. I can link it down below if it's still available. And it comes with everything that you need to install your eyelet. So it actually comes with the punch to punch the hole and the actual tools to install your eyelet. So we will just go through quickly on how to do this, and I will give you some other options as well. Like I said, you could do the same thing and put string, or you could, if you didn't want to do the eyelets or don't have the eyelets, you could simply just poke a hole with something like an awl or a Tim Holtz craft pick and feed your elastic through that if you want to do it that way. But I am going to go the eyelet route for this junk journal, and just as a reminder, you guys, this junk journal is almost done. When this is done, we will be doing a giveaway. So make sure you're subscribed and keep an eye on that because we've only got a couple of videos left with this journal. Alright, so the first thing you want to think about is this one comes with a bunch of different colors, and I need to see what color I would want to use. You could pick something complementary, or you could pick something completely off the wall. This is your journal. It is up to you. For the sake of this video, I'm going to keep it pretty simple. I think I am just going to do a classic silver eyelet here. Oop, we lost one. So it is just a plain silver eyelet, and you guys don't mind the way that my hands look. It's been a trying week. It has nothing to do with crafting whatsoever. I just keep seeming to getting hurt this week. So to put your eyelet together, obviously you're going to need the eyelet itself. And for this style of eyelet, you actually need one of these, which are the backing pieces. So I'm going to grab one of these out as well. Okay, before we can put our eyelet in, we have to put our hole in. Let me put all of this to the side because we're not going to need it. And then also to install eyelets, you do need a hard surface to do it. I like to use my metal stamping block, and that it's not necessary. I just like to use it because I have it. And then I use my little brass head hammer from Impress Art. If you guys are interested in seeing a stamping video, let me know. We can definitely do that one day as well. I really like to make charms with hand stamped. So where you put your eyelet is completely up to you. Obviously, I would really like mine to be centered, but with putting this on top, you don't have to worry about your stitching. Everything is glued into place real good. So I just like to plan out where I would put it. Let me grab a pencil here. So when I look at the paper I've put on the back, if you don't have paper, it may not apply to you. I don't really want to cut into the design of the paper here, but I do want to make sure it's centered. So what I'm going to do is actually open up my book to the middle of all of my signatures. So I have 4 signatures. I'm going to pull it open. And this is just kind of gives you an idea of where you need to actually put your eyelets. So if you remember when we did ours, we did it with 4 binding holes. So what I'm going to do is look for the middle of the middle here. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So right here is going to be our middle. It doesn't have to be exact unless you are wanting it to. That's up to you. Now I don't know exactly where that's going to come out on the other side, but I would rather it be dead center at this point because I don't think it's going to make that big of a difference on our backing. So what you're going to do, at least with this method, if you're using these eyelets, is you want to make sure that you have your book on a hard surface or one of these blocks is what I like to use. And this is going to get in my way, so I'm going to grab a little bit of washi tape that I have over here. I'm just going to use it to secure this little tail. I'll probably be trimming this tail down eventually. I just don't want to clip it right now. The punch tool looks like this. And now, if you have like one of those long-range crocodiles or something like that, you could definitely use it as well. I actually prefer the hand tools. I got used to using them when I was doing leather working and then also traveler's notebook making, so I'm okay with it. So we just want to look where we put our little mark here, and you want to take your punch tool, and it is going to be a tight fit. That's okay. But you just want to put it down in the middle. Fair warning, this is loud. You don't have to just whack away at it really hard. If you are using a traditional hammer, please be careful here. You can definitely hurt yourself. With the Impress Art brass head hammer, it just takes a couple good whacks. The thicker your book spine is, obviously, the more you're going to have to hit it. But I'm going to go ahead and do this. I'll fast forward through this so you guys don't have to hear it in full force here. So I just like to wriggle it around, and then I'll pull it out. Now you can see in the end of our punch here, maybe you can see, in the end of our punch here, you can see that we do actually have our paper now. Like I said, if you're using this and it starts to get backed up, use a poke tool or an awl or something similar, and just poke it right out. Okay, so now we'll show you guys the back. So we have our hole. Yeah, that's exactly where I thought it was going to end up. And that's okay. I'm all right with it. So this is our hole, and you can see there is a little bit of tearage. In an ideal world, I like to go from the outside in. It's not really a possibility when you have a completely binded journal, but it is a-okay. But you do want, let me set this to the side for just 1 second. You do want your eyelet to be on the outside. So we're going to take our eyelet, and you're just going to set it into place just like that. And then you want to lay your book back down using this little tool. So this little thing right here is just the backing plate that's actually going to hold your eyelet in place as you put it together, and this is going to allow it to all get put together. So what I do with the junk journals anyway, or anything that's completed like this, I'll take this and I will just set it on top. And again, because it is a completed journal, it can take a little bit of fussing, but you can get it. So I would just open it up just like we did when we put our first hole, and you can see that it comes out right here in the middle. So you just want to make sure this is all seated down. And again, I like to use this. It's not necessary. I'm just going to put the whole journal back down like this. And you just want to make sure that everything is seated together. Then we're going to take our little backing piece. So like I said, my eyelets that I have use these backing pieces. Not every eyelet kit uses these. Some of them don't need them, but the ones that I am currently using do. So all you do with this is you actually put it straight on top, and you might have to push your signatures apart just a tiny bit, which is just fine. You're not going to hurt it, I promise. Everything's bound together. Okay. So now that we have it in here, you just want to double check and make sure that everything is lined up. Because if you just take your tool and put it on and start hammering away, but everything's not lined up, it's not going to actually compress it and put it together. So what I do, again, is I just kind of spread my signatures apart, and I look at everything here. So I can see just by looking at it, I know it can be kind of hard to see on camera, that the ring is not lined up with the eyelet, and that is the most important part. So just push it down, make sure that it's aligned, and then once it is, you'll take this tool here, and it just has a hole on the bottom, and you can see it is kind of recessed around the edges here, and that is where that backing ring is going to fit. So you're just going to take that and put it on top. Again, if you need to spread your signatures apart, you can. And you just want to push down just a tiny bit, and you want to make sure everything is together. So when you wiggle it just a little bit like this, you should feel some resistance because everything's stacked on top of each other. Okay, again, I'm going to mute this down so you guys don't have to hear it. Okay, and it can be a little tough to remove this. If it is, it means that you definitely got it lined up, so that's good. So once you get that removed, you can simply pick up your journal. You can see this has fallen off because it is no longer needed, and now your eyelet is firmly in place. So if we look at the inside, of course, it's going to be more hidden than this. It's just because we've been pushing them apart. At the inside, this is kind of what it looks like. You don't really see it all that much. So let's go ahead and get this out of our way. Like I said, you could do a string if you wanted to, or you can do elastic. For this junk journal, I am going to be doing elastic. All you need to do when it comes to elastic, this is just some 1mm elastic that is by Dritz. I think I got it at Hobby Lobby or Michael's. What I like to do is just basically cut enough elastic to go around the journal, like that, and then a little bit extra. If that's still too much, we can definitely adjust that as we go. So I'm just going to cut it right here. You are just going to take your elastic and do a simple knot at the end. If your eyelets are a little bit bigger, you might want to do a double knot when you're using thinner elastic. So like with this, because it's 1mm and not the 2mm that I would typically use, I would actually do a double knot. Just like that. So it looks a little bulky, but again, it will be hidden within your journal. You do not want to clip your tails at this point because you might still need to make some adjustments. So all you're going to do is take your elastic at the looped end, and inside your journal, you just want to feed that from the inside to the outside through that eyelet that we created earlier. So just like this. Take this, and I'm trying to do it where you guys can see it, but take your end and feed it to the outside. So you can see that it's coming out the back side here, and you just want to grab that and pull it out. So on the inside right now, you can see that we have a knot and then we have our two little tails. We're going to leave that as is for now because we're going to want to put our elastic over top and make sure that it's snug but not too snug. So this one, you can see there is a lot of give. So I'll probably tighten this just a little bit because even when this journal is full, I wouldn't expect it to get much bigger than this. So I kind of try to assume how big the journal is going to be, and I see if there's still a lot of play. So there is still a lot of play in this elastic, so I'm going to pull this back open. See if I can find the middle again here. You don't have to pull it completely out. I just kind of pull it out a little bit and try again. So I'm just going to tie a single knot this time kind of loosely just so I can not pull it through. So if that happens, just untie it. It kind of shifted when I tied the knot and I tried to pull it through. That is okay. That's why we don't want to cut our tails or anything like that, because you want to make sure that you have enough. So I was saying you don't have to take it out, but if by accident you do, it's okay. It's just going to be the same exact process that it was before. Just tie your double knot and then send it back through to the outside. Alright, so I actually think I might have made this a little bit too small, but nope. I think I'm pretty happy with that. So now we can see that there's a lot less of that slack, but there is definitely still room. So if we were to have this expanded, there's definitely enough room to keep some more goodies in it. Now you don't have to use like a black elastic or anything like that. You could use colored elastic. You could do whatever it is you want to do with your junk journal. The reason I have used the black elastic is because it is what I have on hand today. And it is also perfect. I'm just going to tie a second knot here just to make sure everything stays together. It is also perfect for hanging charms off of, which is something that we will be doing in this series. That is going to be the last video that we do. And then we'll be adding all of our charms. So for today, that is where I'm going to leave it. Just wanted to keep this real short and sweet. I know that if you've never used the eyelets before, it can be a little bit tricky, especially because there are so many different types of mechanisms and tools to assemble your eyelets. But that is the easiest way I've seen it. Like I said, I will go ahead and link to the eyelets that I use from Amazon down below, as well as anything else that I've used in this video. I just want to thank you so much for stopping by for this junk journal video and crafting with me. And thanks so much for liking, commenting, and subscribing. And I will see you guys next week when we decorate our cover. Bye!